Hello and welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. And we are on scrapbooking week, which is this week's, or this month's scrapbook kit, should I say, is meant to be. It's this wonderful, vibrant scrapbooking kit with lots of bumblebees and beautiful, bright designer series paper. Now, if you saw my video this morning at 10, you will have had shown you the run through of all the papers. I have since then cut all the papers down to each project, divided them all up, and this is where we are now. So we are doing project 1. I've got my little Stamp and Write marker here, and let's take everything out of project 1, she says. So let's have a look at what we've got. Taking it out of my bag, split it all up. There we go. And let's see what we've got. Let's do. So the first page is lots of little tiny squares. So it's this one here we're doing, the first page. So let's get all of those together and we can start. So the first thing I need to do, straighten that up to start with, is to put my glue dot, one at the top and one at the bottom of my square, of my mat. Not quite sure why I got that one out. Doesn't have a point. There we go, there's my pointy tool. Right, let's go. And these are removable. She says they have so removable. Ah, there they are. I was going to say, these are removable dots. It just holds your page into place while you work. There we go. And then the first thing we can do now is to place our first piece of paper. And we have this beautiful, and I believe it's petal pink. Or is it pretty and pink? That's a good question. Let's see if I can find out. It's always a good idea to find out what colours you're working with. Let's have a look. It's in this. Ah, there we go. This is all these pieces here, all the pieces that are left over from the kit that I can use on other projects. So that's brilliant. No, it's not. Let's have a look. It's Bubble Bath. So basically we've got the colours in this kit are Basic Black, Bubble Bath, Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, Petunia Pop and Pool Party. So this is our Bubble Bath. So there we go. So let's put those back. So Bubble Bath is our bright, vibrant colour. Okay, so as I said, I've cut all the sizes out using the diagrams and instructions. And what I need to do now is go to my first page. And then it tells you what you need to do. So the first thing it says to you is map the photo for the left page, and then map the photos for the right page. So I'm going to leave those for a moment. This is the mat for the left page, which is what we're doing at the moment. And this is my photograph. This is my daughter and her school best friend. These two were inseparable when they were in school. Unfortunately, as time wears on, they lost touch. But up until that point, they were inseparable, and they were off to do a trip with, or an experience called NCS, which is like a national certificate service that they do here in England. And they got to do a whole month of wonderful training of all exciting things. Okay, so I'm just going to document this page, or this event, should I say. So we need to create the background. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put our Whisper White, and we're going to stick that down flat all the way around. And I'm going to use my multi-purpose for that. So, wrong hand to shake, unfortunately. It's still playing up. So I've got to be careful and not use it as much as I would normally. Lifting a kettle is my biggest problem at the moment. I'm using my left hand to do that. we go. Right, so that's all down. There we go. Now you'll get all the measurements in the kit, and obviously you can buy the supplies from my shop if you wanted to do the same. So the next thing it says is to create the background by adhering these pieces to your piece of paper. So this is where all these 2-inch squares come into play. So it's literally working your way around the page. So we've got one, I just need to make sure everything fits, don't we really? Then we've got these beautiful flowers. I'm hoping this is all fitting on screen and I'm not just, yes it is. I was thinking that I maybe have gone off screen and you can't actually see what I'm doing, but I've checked and we seem to be okay. So we've got the hexagon, and then we've got more of these, and then we've got this beautiful pool party. Right, so obviously you're going to have to move these along. So I would always suggest that we stick these down visually first and then go ahead and stick them down when we have got them in place. That's that one, and then that one, and then that one. That's a bit better, isn't it, that way round? Then we've got these flowers again. Purple. These colours are just so gorgeous. They really are. And we've got that one. Just move them around a bit. Make sure we're happy with them. There we go. And then we're going back up the other side. That's one there. And I've got one to go there. And then I've got the flower to go there again. And then we need another row to go along here, and that will 1, 2, 3, and that gives us the space now for our photograph to go in. So that will go in just there. Okay, so if you give me 2 seconds, I will glue all of this down and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're all stuck down now. Yeah, all stuck down now. So the only thing we need to do now for this is to add the embellishments. So we've got this one that says better together, and they really were at school, better together. I have a lovely hexagon here. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? It's a sticky for, it's going to be for writing on. My hand, I am right-handed, so I won't be writing on it today. And I've got this very cheeky little bumblebee. So let's put those on. So what are we going to do? Let's put this on first. So this is literally a peel off, and you can just, it's suggesting you go along here. I suppose you could, yeah, let's do that. Doesn't take up too much of the photograph, and it's just a sticker, so you can just stick that down, and then I can take this off, and this will go, I'm going to put that over the 4 squares bottom right. And then I can write on it, when my hand is better, the information. And then I've got my little bumblebee again, which is just a case of bringing that down over to here. Now, the instructions suggest that you do a few dots going this way, so it looks like our bumblebee is buzzing. So I'm going to use the small end. We're going to try it with my hand. And we're going to dot it. So if you've got Stamp and Write markers and you don't have the so concentrating here, you see, you don't have the stamp set, then you can just do your buzzy bee that way. So there you are, he's just buzzing around and off he goes. Right, so that is the first page. So let's get rid of the rubbish, and then I'm going to move, because I don't have an amazing amount of space, I'm going to move this over to the right hand side. Unfortunately my camera won't cover the whole project, so we're doing it one at a time. So now the thing to do again is to go away. Thank you. First of all, check that you've got it the same colour. Yeah, you have, because obviously we've got two tones and I'm using the brighter. We need to put two glue dots. Oh dear, it's one of those days today. Removable glue dots, one at the top like so, and then one at the bottom. And we can bring in our square and put that into place like so. All right, now I've got more photographs of the girls and doing their project, and they're going to go somewhere like that, I believe. So we're going to turn the pages over. So there are 4 pages, sorry, 4 photographs on this page. I'm actually going to do 2 sets. So instead of them being I think that's 4 by 4, I'm going to do them as 2 sets. I'll show you as I go ahead. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to add our white card base all the way around. So here it is. And I'm just going to make sure that we've got equal spacing. So this is 9 1/4 inches by 9 1/4 inches. So we're going to go just come down a bit, about 10 1/2, I think it is. Yeah. Okay, so no, 11 1/2. No, 10 1/2. Depending on which way you're going, I suppose. Right, so let's put that on straight away. I'm going to use the glue to do that. So let's split that over and we'll just run the glue down like so. And we're aiming for the 10 1/2 mark. Yep. And there we are. That looks fairly straight to my eye. Okay. So the next thing to do is to add our 4 squares. So we've got these 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the suggestion is that the 2 striped versions go in opposite corners like so, and then you've got a green bit at the top. So these are, yeah, they are 4 by 4. So they're going to go like that. Bring them down a bit so we can, and up a bit so that we've got equal spacing. Cool. And as I said, I'm actually going to put the photographs in singularly. So this is their favourite teacher. For the life of me, I can't remember his name, so I'll have to check with my daughter. And that is going to go onto there like so. And then this is a group of all the girls. So the girls are here with their favourite teacher. And then this is another photograph of them all doing like a triangle, a tumble triangle. And then when I've completed, that will go over the top. So my next photograph is this one. Our family suffered from brittle bones, so don't be alarmed. Yes, she did break her ankle, but that didn't stop her. She came home for the weekend. Basically what they did a week away on a course, and then each weekend they came home. And this is my little lass coming home with her broken ankle, but she went back on the Monday, no problems. And there is another photograph of them on one of the other weekends going off. So that will go onto there like that. So that is my way I'm going to do the photos. So let's stick down the squares. You always worry, don't you, when your kids go off and think to yourself, oh, you know, hope they come back safely. But with brittle bones, I was always amazed if they came back not broken. But you can't stop them from doing these things. You just have to let them get out there and do it. You know, they will learn to work out how to survive these things. You can't let it stop them having... I mean, the only thing... My son's got brittle bones as well. So the only thing I wouldn't let him do was play rugby. Everything else he could do, because rugby I felt was just too much of a contact sport. And he would never walk away without anything broken. But he's done everything else. He's climbed trees and played in parks, and same as my daughter. So, yeah. It wasn't a surprise when she came home and one of the bones was broken. Right, let's do that straight. There we go. Okay, so there's the 4 squares. Now we can put the 2 photographs together that we're going to stick down. So as these have white borders around them, I'm not mounting them. I'm just going to let them stick straight down. Like so. And I just want to make sure that they are level. So I'm going to stick this one down first. Top, or even bottom. And top. And then I'm going to go... I'm quite lucky that I've got the hexagons here. And so I can automatically get a straight line. And then obviously I've got the lines down here to give me the straight line for that. Result. And there we go, down. And then we can line those up with there. And straight down to there. Okay, so there are our 2 photographs. So the next thing literally is to put on the, oh, excuse me. Excuse me, I've definitely got problems here. Okay, so we've got a bumblebee. And he goes down here. And again, he is buzzing. So we need our pen. And this time we're just going to go. Now, obviously, if you wanted to, you could use the colour to match your paper. I thought it might be nicer to have the green little dots. I'm just going to make him fly off the corner, or fly in from the corner of the page. And there we go. So there he is, has his little buzz. And then we've got this beautiful butterfly. And you know what? They actually had the most fantastic time. Totally and utterly loved it. Would do it again in a heartbeat. Which is what you want, isn't it, really? I'm having the best time ever. And then we've got a couple of hearts. So I'm going to put one there and probably one there. So as you can see, the first page is very quick and easy to do. The only thing I've really changed is the fact that I have using flip-flaps, which aren't used in the actual project, and I've got my old olive Stamp and Write marker. So let's have a look. So that is our second page, and then when they're in their final position, I will pop these over, and then the girls can lift the pages up and see what's underneath. And then I've got enough space here should I wish to. Oh look, there's another one there. The girls have got enough space should they... Girls, how about if I want to put my journaling down there and tell them about the wonderful time and my daughter's leg. Bless her. Okay, so that is our second page completed. So there's our second page. Let's bring in our first page to remind ourselves. There we go. Perfect. So do join me on Wednesday for our second project and see what we get up to for that. So thanks ever so much for joining me today, and I look forward to catching up to you on your Wednesday. Bye.